Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Nana Yaa Yeboaa podcast. Today's episode is very special. We're going to look at music. Everybody loves music. There are different forms of music, and every culture has its music. African music is right now reigning in the world. However, we're going to specifically look at Ghanaian music, and we're going to have a beautiful conversation with Afriyie Wutah, a Ghanaian musician that has been making waves, making music that is impacting society. And as I said, it's a transformative music impacting Ghanaian society. And also being the voice of the voiceless. There are big hits within his music. Bronya, everybody knows Bronya 2017 which came out. Hungry Man,
Country hot.
Country Hot.
Yes.
Ah, that came in 2021.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay.
And then
And my
cheers to life.
favorite, Cheers
Cheers
to
to
Life.
life.
Ah, this is mine.
That's mine over here.
That's Cheers to life,
Cheers to
indeed,
life,
indeed,
Nana.
indeed. Every year, we're
Yes,
free
Nana.
year, Akwaba.
Yeah, yummy there.
Oh, but just so yummy, I'll be about you.
Hey, it's all right. And you've got it. Okay. Yummy, man.
Ah,
Thank you so much for having me.
you're most welcome. Every year, let's break down then your name. Some of my audience may not understand that both names have a meaning.
Sure.
So break down the meaning of your name so that they have a contextual understanding.
Thank you so much. My name is Afriyie Wutah. In fact, the name is Afriyie. Afriyie is my real name. It means it's an Akan name. I'm an Akan.
Mhm.
Yes, Akans are a part of Ghana. The Akans are another ethnic group in Ghana. I think by far the largest ethnic group. And the Akan
Ethnic group.
language, yes, and the Akan language is a language widely spoken across Ghana. So I'm an Akan. So my name Afriyie is an Akan word. I think it's a combination of two words, a free and then ye. A free means emerging or coming out or sprouting or springing
Mhm.
or good or right timing. So in a nutshell, I would say my name a free means my coming was at the right time. So I came well. I came at the right time. Wutah, however, is also a Ghanaian word. I think it's one of the languages widely spoken across the West African sub-region. It's Hausa. It's actually Wutah, which means fire.
Uta. Okay.
Yes, which means fire.
Mm.
But everywhere I went, nobody ever took the Wutah off my name. They still
Okay.
kept calling me Wutah Wutah. So I guess I thought, why not put the names together and then just be yourself?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I am very glad to have you on my podcast for us to
Pleasure is
talk
all mine.
about
Pleasure is all mine.
all these all, where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? How
I
did
grew
you get
up.
into music? Three
Okay.
questions.
Okay. So I'll take the first one. I grew up in. I was actually born in Mamprobi, so I lived. I think all my childhood I was in Mamprobi.
Mhm.
From when I was born till I left college, I was still at Mamprobi.
Mhm.
So I was born in Mamprobi, a suburb of Accra, the capital of Ghana. Then I started my education at Ransom Crèche. Then I went to St. Mary's Preparatory School,
Mhm.
where I did my primary and JSS.
Mhm.
After that, I went to Accra High School
Mhm.
and excuse me, I read business. After Accra High School, I went to what is now called Accra Technical University. I
Mhm.
did purchasing and supply.
Mhm.
And after Accra Technical University, think I did a little music at Music Haven. That was after I had gotten into the music. So that's I think a summary of my beginning, where I come from, and my
Yeah.
education, and what got me into music. I think music has been an integral part of my life since I was born. Though no member of my family is a musician,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person who ever ventured into that particular discipline. Uh,
Okay.
yes, I. But then I had music all around me growing up. You know,
Well, Ghana is full of music
you
and noise
know,
pollution.
every kind of, and funny enough, it depends on how you perceive it, how your brain sees it, your brain perceives it. Because where I lived, like you're saying, it was quite noisy. Mamprobi is
Yes.
or can be a very noisy place.
Yes.
A small kiosk, be a bar here and there. Everybody playing loud music.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't have apartments and those. I think we had self-contained and then compound houses then. So
That is so true.
yes,
That
yes.
is so true.
So I would say if it was today, I would say I lived in one of the government housing, houses, apartments. But then back home we
Oh,
call them
listen, it was a ghetto.
a ghetto. We call them compound houses. You have lots of small rooms all created for people. Everybody had come to survive in Accra. So, and guess you walk outside, it's noisy. You come home, it's
It's
extremely noisy.
noisy.
You know, so on the other hand, I didn't see that vibe as noise though, because I think the brain was doing magic. I didn't realize it though until I grew up, started my music, and sat back just to see where I got all these little influences from.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized it was from back home, from that
Mm-hmm.
compound house. Taught me
Mm-hmm.
everything I know now.
Oh, wow. Was
Yes.
there a particular person that lives in that place that
Yes.
played?
Like
Okay.
what I was coming to. We had this man in the house. I think he passed on. May his soul rest in peace. Just last year. His name, he was called. We used to call him Sasabon Sam. In Tree, it means the Satan or the devil
Mm-hmm.
because of his behavior. Because he would play music from morning till evening. People would complain. Other tenants would complain, but he would never stop playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up and I realized I could sing some songs I'd never heard before.
Mm.
Yes, I could sing some melodies. I could write some I had never heard before. Then I went back and realized, oh, so he was feeding me. Then I was
So
being fed with all.
subconsciously,
Yes,
you've
I was being fed with
gathered.
all these things.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so I grew up and because he was playing from, then we had just one radio station in Accra, in Ghana, Accra, I'll say, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
FM station, I would say,
Yeah,
GAR. Yes,
I
so
don't remember, but
okay, we had just one FM station, like
mm-hmm.
transmitting via FM.
Yeah.
It was GR. And before you could listen to something from out there, you either
Mm-hmm.
had to own your own turntable to play your vinyl
Oh, okay.
or listen to GR because then
Yes.
you hear a few of these foreign songs. But he
Yes.
was playing collection of songs from Jim Reeves to Bella
Phil
Fonte,
Collins.
Phil Collins, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Kakeku, and Pedu, Ray Charles.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing a little bit of everything. So with jazz, he was doing the Sonny Rollins, the Dizzy Gillespie's. He
Yes,
was playing
yes,
everything.
yes.
Yes, he was doing John Coltrane. He was playing
The Four
Miles
Tops and all
Davis,
those people. Yeah.
Dave Brubeck, and back home he was playing Osibisa, Asabia Cropper. I remember
Yes.
she was one of
Yes,
my favorite
yes,
artists growing
yes,
up.
yes, yes.
Asabia Cropper.
Oh my goodness.
So I
You
had all
taking
these
me
people.
back.
You come to gospel, Tego Sisters, almost everything. And then you look at reggae, he would
Mm-hmm.
play a little Lucky Dube, he would play a little Bob Marley, he would play a little Peter Tosh.
Alpha
He was
Blondie,
playing
Peter
Alpha
Tosh.
Blondie, he was
Yes,
playing everything.
yes, yes, yes.
And then he would give us some Wulome. So I had an idea of almost everything everybody listens to now. Yes. So I realized I got everything I know today from that man. I think I owe him everything I have learned over the years musically.
I, as I always say, when we connect the dots of our past, then we really have a better understanding of how things have impacted us in
That's true.
our lives. And growing up in Ghana, I say I was impacted by the fireside Mame Dokno storytelling, because I
Wow.
do Anansi stories too, storytelling on the side.
Wow.
But we don't really think so much until we start connecting the dots and see the those that have impacted us in our lives. And these are some of the stories that I really want us as Ghanaians or Africans to really understand the power of story, and subconsciously or consciously how it molds us into the individuals we become in
Yes.
the future.
That's
So
true.
if you tell and get a good story or narrative, let me do it a general narrative, it has a positive impact on you and who you become in the future.
That's true.
If you get a negative narrative, it also has an influence on who you become in the
That's very
future.
true.
But the core of it is how we utilize these, I'll say, gifts that we've been given, whether they're good or bad. It's how you utilize it for the future.
That's true. That's very
So
true.
y- y- you've mentioned all these musicians, and it's given me a really great understanding of why your music
Thank you.
is the way it is.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I highly appreciate that,
Thank you
Free.
so much. Thank you so much.
There's a saying that, let's talk about that in reference to country hot.
Okay. Yeah, and I think thank you so much. As artists, we are, looking at the current social and political tensions, all these things happening around. I think as artists, one, we are architects of emotions, and our work goes beyond just the artistical vibes people see. It goes beyond just the creativity. Even painting, it goes beyond just the painting you see. It goes beyond just the music you hear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this challenging world, I think artists they are the forefront of the conversation now. Challenging status quo and then inspiring change.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel a song like Country Hot is a typical example of the role of today's musician.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, with regards to our political environment back home and across
Mm-hmm.
the sub region. So Country Hot, I think is an awakening. Sometimes there are challenges. What do you call it? As a musician, people would want you to go after commercial success.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, these things you have to come out of your way to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it takes somebody with some level of, I don't know what word to use, but it takes somebody with guts to actually stand up and then speak some of the things I said in the song. In the
Mm-hmm.
song, and there's no better way to convey a message to people. In fact, message you want the people to listen and then probably act in accordance to the message. There's no better way to convey such a message to these people than through music. Because words alone, fine, people listen. But you know, music, melody, rhythm, beat, just get the person dancing, and before you know, I've told you everything I want to tell you in the song.
No, it is very true. Even my favorite song, Yeah
Mm-hmm.
Baby,
Mm-hmm.
Bronya.
Bronya.
And as uh, I realized I had to analyze later on, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to share it with you, that I
Okay.
think I love the song more because it had my name in it. It had the
Oh,
ya
wow.
in it,
Yeah.
right? And also, not the rhythm is nice, but it also gives you a sense of letting down, let loose, don't
Okay,
wait still, enjoy your life, you
that's good.
understand.
I like
Yes.
the way you interpreted it. I like it. I like your interpretation of it. That's good.
On a how do you call it, when it comes to the body, so what it probably was doing is that it was releasing oxytocin,
Oh
the
yeah.
love hormone. You understand? So
Mhm.
it increases this oxytocin, and so you're on a natural vibe high. You are
Wow.
happy,
Yeah.
and as you're happy, your dopamine is also probably up.
You
And
know.
say what you
You
here.
know.
You say what? Mm,
Isn't that like cheers to life? Like I said, we are architects of emotions.
that
We can take people
that is
places they've
true.
never been to.
Mm-hmm.
I can get you in a mood you probably haven't been in a couple of years.
Yes.
Just like a perfume can take you way back. A song can just change your mood. So we are actually architects of emotions, and these
That,
things come with just words and melodies. A single melody can make you remember your most happiest moment. In fact, your happiest moment in your life.
you say a single, but it's not just that. It is a chemical reaction that you, the musician, you create culture, you change culture, you reinvent culture
Yeah,
through
yeah,
music.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, a musician's influence when it comes to a particular culture, it's really great. Well, one, we preserve culture, not just a musician, arts in general. But since I'm a musician, I think I would just limit it to
Yeah.
music. Yeah. So in as society goes through that metamorphosis, so does the artist and the music.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually convey what should be told out there to the people. Trust me, if it wasn't for music or certain songs, certain things our folks did way back, we wouldn't be doing them now. Trust me. So through music, just like storytelling, we are able, like
Yes.
I said from the beginning, challenge status quo and then inspire change,
Mm-hmm.
preserving culture.
Mm-hmm.
They say culture is the way a people live. And how do a group of people live? How do they live? I think the music they consume is also an integral part of how they live.
Wait there, Medewoko, I have taken you right back to anthropology 101.
I know, right? Really? Tell me about it.
I've taken you back to anthropology 101. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
so so we as cultural architects, like that's what we do. We try to connect societies,
Mm-hmm.
uh challenge certain narratives, and
Mm-hmm.
then question certain norms, all through music.
Mm-hmm.
Society is not static, it's dynamic, and
Mm-hmm.
but we keep changing by the day.
Yeah.
If not ourselves, we're actually adapting to certain changes around us, and that's also a change. So through music we get to keep or preserve some of these things. That's why we would have a song like "This is the day 5 million Ghanaians will go there. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip will be here on that special day. Sing and dance the whole day and put on King to find." Da, 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 96. From that song, I was able to know when the Queen was first in Ghana.
19 that is 1957, Enyom.
Yeah, I think 1959 or one of them.
59.
59, yes. I think it was
Okay.
by E.T. Mensah.
E.T. Mensa.
Yes,
Okay.
I still stand to be corrected though.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Wow.
so we are architects of culture,
Mm-hmm.
uh, challenging what's been said already, and then inspiring people to still keep to
Mm-hmm.
new vibe,
Mm-hmm.
connecting societies, opening people up to variety as well,
Mm-hmm.
as we try to entertain them. So
Mm-hmm.
all these things come together to help develop a progressive society. If you ask
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, a
Yeah.
society which is in touch with its past, aware of its presence, and then forging ahead together to face its future.
Ah, this is quotable. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bam. Edem. Edem. So when it comes to the music, which genre will you put yourself, if there is? Because some people will say, I'm a high life musician, I'm an Afrobeat musician, I'm a reggae musician, or some people don't, subscribe to one. I don't know which one you would.
I like I said from the beginning of the conversation, because I have a wide influence when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to people I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I usually say I do music,
Mm-hmm.
but I do Ghanaian music basically, and these days there's a bigger market out there. It's not just limited to Ghana now.
Yes.
So I would say I do world music,
Mm-hmm.
which in Ghana is with regards to genre is termed high life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, high life isn't the only music genre in Ghana though,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't put all the songs we do together under one umbrella. No,
Most definitely.
no, what Aisoba is doing is not high life. That is
Yeah.
another genre of music. Yes, but back I do high life. So I'll say basically I do high life with a fusion of jazz, a little funk, and then sometimes we get into the pop when we want to go commercial. Sometimes, like
Mm-hmm.
Bronya you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But even most of these commercial songs still have core high life elements in them.
I didn't feel Bronya as commercial.
That is the thing, oh. So I tell my, when I get some of these young musicians approach me and then ask me how I write my songs, how we are able to create big bangers, I tell them in fact, not every song is a banger, but every good song is a potential banger.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, any song can be a banger with saturated promotion, everything. You can make any song
Mm-hmm.
popular everywhere, but every good song is a potential banger. So, like in school, they taught us uh, not all herbalists are priests, but all priests
Chris,
are
a
herbalists.
herbalist. Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
Yes. So Bronya, like I said, we tried as much as possible, looking at the era, the time the song came, and the kind of songs people were playing then.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would have thought set would go or to or move in that direction.
Yeah.
But then we decided to do something different from what everybody was doing then.
Yeah.
Stick to our highlight vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Go with our clave, our five,
Mm-hmm.
and then go with our dominant guitar patterns in these songs,
Mm-hmm.
and then keep the rhythm punchy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And see what the people will say. But I think what got people was the unison we did with the chorus.
Yes.
Yes, and I think the theme as well also counts. It's an everyday song. Anybody can relate to it.
I
Yes.
I think it came to replace 24th.
Oh, it did?
I think so. Because 24th came, you remember that song?
Hey, that
Obi
song,
Nkase.
24 for Cold Group. I so remember it. That was a banger. It was the only song we could play on the 24th night back then.
Yes. And then, it associated itself to a period of time. And I think the Friday, the Bronya also associated it, the message in it said not to wait till the weekend,
That's true.
before we start enjoying.
That's true.
Yes. And so then it gave some of us the okay
Mm-hmm.
to start
To start.
before,
I know, right?
as they say, before unko. We start
Before-
before. So it gave when you listen to it, it's like, oh, I can do it. I
yes,
can
that's
start,
true.
um thing. Now that brings me to Cheers to Life.
Okay.
And this is one of the songs that I listen to quite a bit, in the sense that I find it very motivating.
Thank you. Thank you.
But as the author, or as the musician, I would like to ask, where did the inspiration for Cheers to Life come from?
Okay. I think I had done Country Hot. I
Yes.
had done Country Hot the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we are
Yeah.
architects of emotions, architects of culture, architects of emotion, emotions being the key one.
Mm-hmm.
So in a time of trouble, in times when you think the ship is sinking,
Mm-hmm.
people need to be motivated. People need hope. People
Mm-hmm.
need something to hang on. Trust me, if you have a dying person who may probably die in a few minutes, and you tell the person, you know what, the doctor is at the junction, he should be here. The fellow might hold on
Mm-hmm.
for a while, or
Mm-hmm.
even die without knowing he or she was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
So amidst all these turbulence the country is going through, I thought of, why not do something to calm the people down, keep the people hope. Because
Mm-hmm.
we live in a society, a very divided society, where a few control so much, yet so few have very little to hope for. And
Mm-hmm.
to some, it's a relentless, bitter struggle for survival every day,
Mm-hmm.
right from the bed to the bed. So
Mm-hmm.
give them hope. And which better way to convey that hope? Strike the balance. Let them know it's not about material stuff, because we can live without these things. Trust me. And
Hey.
what matters most is life. Oh, these things are bonuses if you
Yes.
ask me. Because
Okay.
let's say I live in a 4 bedroom apartment or a 5 bedroom apartment. I still sleep in 1 bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Until I have 5 guests, those
Mm-hmm.
other rooms will still be empty. If I've got 2 cars, or even if I have a car, it
Mm-hmm.
depends on what I do. If my job or whatever I do or wherever I go, wherever I hang out is so close, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there will be the need for any luxurious car. Just something to take me to where I'm going and back. So these things are bonuses. When you tell people these things, now they know they are not being looked down on. So let them know life is the most important. Life is precious. Life is all. And once there's life, there is hope. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you convey this message to them? You can't just sit on Facebook and say, Charlie, today's state of the nation address. So life the be, life is sweet. Like no. Get the person in a certain mood,
Mm-hmm.
yet get the person to listen to. So before you know, you are saying, if you get money, cheers to life. You don't get money, cheers to life. It's just to say once there's life, there's
There
hope.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 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 nkwa, oh, adie
Who are there?
nyinaa. Oh, nkwa, oh, adie nyinaa. But sometimes I within the context of Africa or Ghana, sometimes I feel that
Yes, I read Chichire.
yes,
That's how you see it.
yes.
Okay. I think
I,
you're right to some extent.
so I'll not get into the Ghanaian mindset, because I would like to push it a little more for
Okay.
them, for us to change, you know, our outlook at life. But that will be a different conversation.
No problem. No problem. No problem.
Either way, I still love Cheers to Life, because
Thank
I got
you.
my
Oh
mm-mm.
yeah. I know, right?
I still got it. I still got it. I still got it. So you are I'm interested in the Ghanaian music industry. I have no idea what is going on. In your view, what are some of the stuff going on? What are the pluses, the minuses, things that could be done better when you look at the grand scheme of music coming out of Africa to the world? And how do we, resolve some of these issues and, make them better if there are? So the pluses and the minuses.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm a proud Ghanaian. We have a very thriving music industry,
Mm-hmm.
rich with talent. So much talent. Talent abounds back home. So much talent. In fact, every corner you pass, anywhere you turn, you see one talented person either playing an instrument or singing. Unfortunately, we don't have an industry that supports stuff like that. Yes, so that has been a major challenge for musicians in general. Why am I saying this? I don't know if we still teach music in our schools anyway. Because if we still do, it will tell the world how serious we are about our music business. Knowing that music as a branch of the creative arts contributes a lot to our GDP. In fact, economic wise, if you talk about our royalties and all these monies that come in from wherever, music contributes so much. You look around, you look at the bands springing up, and that is a good thing. Amidst all these troubles, we still have boys coming together to form bands.
Yeah.
Now these pubs are understanding the live band culture, so they are also adapting it and accepting it and employing more musicians. And before I even jump into the problems and the pluses and the minuses anyway, between the top charting musician and the struggling musician, there are different levels of musicians between these people. So not all musicians we don't hear from are actually struggling musicians. Yes, a podcast like yours starts, a song plays at the beginning. It may not be a popular song. We watch CNN, we hear sound bites here and there. These are all composed by musicians. We don't know them, but they get paid for their work. So between the top charting musician and the struggling artist, there are different levels. That's just to say. So we have a very rich country with regards to musical talent. We have very rich talent, yet the industry doesn't support. So you realize musicians, not just musicians, the creative arts, when you're aging and you can't do what you could do actively back then, now you're found wanting. Some come on air to appeal for fans, and I hardly see this thing happening in your country or here in the US. It's rare. I'm yet to see one. Why? Because we don't have the mechanism. The mechanism is not running well. It's not supporting the artists today. Talk of royalties from our royalty collection body, GAMRO. There's nothing to write home about. Talk of the genre of music we're doing. In fact, if we were to go by the traditional way of, in fact, orthodox way of doing things, so musicians like me, you wouldn't even hear Cheers to Life. But with platforms like TikTok, Spotify, and all these streaming platforms, we get to some of us who don't have our songs regularly on traditional media.
Radio. Okay.
Yes, we get to push our songs out there. This is another challenge because this chase for this monotonous hits. Everybody wants to play a song which has a BPM like maybe 120 because everybody is playing that. So every radio station, you tune into 10 radio stations and they're probably playing, 5 of them are probably playing the same song from the same artist. Saturated promotion because government doesn't invest in our craft. That government I don't know any investment government is making in our industry though. So individuals take it upon themselves to invest in artists. If I have an artist and you have $10,000 and I have $50,000, it means I can pay more than you do. Back home, money talks. So with saturated promotion, very good artists go underground. And just a few, you can call anybody from anywhere around the world and ask the person to mention 5 Ghanaian musicians. And you'll be surprised. You may get 2. I don't want to mention names. 2 or 3. Maximum 3. And this is what we are telling the people out there. Like the whole country, over 35 million people, music, over 1,000 musicians, only 3 or 2 of them. But you go to Nigeria, I'm not comparing though, And then you ask the average person you meet on the streets of Canada to mention a few Nigerian artists. Trust me, you get more artists.
What you're saying is very true in the sense that within the past month or so, there's been there'll be three Nigerian artists playing large arenas here, and there's one Ghanaian coming through
Wow.
that I'm very much aware of within the
Okay.
GTA, Greater Toronto area.
Okay.
Yes, that I'm very much aware of. So what you're saying is very true. Now, the since we know what the issues are, there has to be solutions.
Solution.
And I am somewhat of a not relying on a government kind of mindset
Yeah.
because of our attitudes, our behaviors, and the mindset that the people within that infrastructure have.
Okay.
So that's my personal
Okay.
opinion. That's my personal opinion. But I'm also I'm highly interested in knowing, or getting from you as somebody within the industry who works within the industry, what are some of the changes or solutions that can be put forth, whether by the government or by the community.
Okay.
Community being Ghanaians,
Okay.
Africans, and both in Ghana and in the
The diaspora.
diaspora.
Yeah. So talking of solutions, I think we can talk of so many things. We can start with gatekeepers. Gatekeepers, I would say these are people who play what we hear. So they let in the stuff that penetrate our stuff. They feed the people like the DJs and all these people. These are the people I would start with. Now, what job have these gatekeepers done in the past? Have they done great job, or is it to the advantage of our most cherished music genre? Every day I talk about when I start with the genre. You should have something you're selling if you want to appeal to somebody. What are we selling? Are we only selling musicians, or we are selling our most popular music genre, which is high life, which has and you have a thin line between high life and Afrobeats, a very thin line. You check off the definition of Afrobeats, and it tells you it's a mixture of high life. It mentions high
It
life.
does. It does.
It's funny. It's funny.
It's I didn't want to get into the history of music, most especially in Ghana, that I'm not going to go very far. So for those watching, this is just a snippet. You can go further and do your research in the history of music in Ghana, from the how do we call it, palm wine music. Well, I won't say me penseful pa.
Yeah, yeah.
From palm wine music using the seprewa,
Seprewa.
ejako ni modems to highlight, but then the brass band which helped with the highlight for
The crew
crew
fishermen.
music. Yes.
Yeah, the crew
Uh-huh.
fishermen. In fact, they actually introduced the cross fingering guitar plucking.
Guitar. Yeah.
Yes. If
So
you read Professor John Collins's book about high
that
life
is
time.
right.
Yeah.
So you know what the crew music is. It's a crew brofo.
Crew Bofu.
It is really Creole.
Oh, is it?
The Creole language from Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone. They were actually fishermen.
Yes.
Yes.
So the going from Ghana to Sierra Leone, Liberia, the Gambia, because there's a lot of mixture of
Yeah.
Ghanaians and Nigerians
Okay.
within Sierra Leone
Oh,
and
okay.
Liberia.
Yes.
Because I was in Sierra Leone earlier this January, and
Okay.
yeah, Freetown, and the history
Wow.
just blew my mind. The
Wow.
history just blew my mind. Yes. So it's actually crew
Crew.
crew. as
Creole.
in Creole
Okay.
language, patois, all those Creole.
Okay.
But we call it crew brofo.
Ooh, bro, that's true. That's true.
Ah,
That's true.
yes, which came there and mixed up with the your friend said the traditional music, and then the brass bands were also there, which also picked up. Then the Burger High Life, those that went to Germany, and then
Mm-hmm.
the original High Life. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Then
it's so
Hip
beautiful.
Life, then Tree Life, then Tree Pop.
These are all branches of the same
It's
tree.
all branches.
Branches of the same tree. And I think, you see, not to cut to you, but this hasn't been good for us because it's been the same journal, but has gone through series of transformations. Each time there's a fusion, the name changes. Every time there's a fusion, the name changes. So you
Yes.
had pop coming in, and he changed the name from High Life to Burger High Life. Because disco coming in because they were playing, the likes of the Michael Jacksons and we had
So,
the people.
the Burger High Life came with the Buggers,
Yeah,
the
they were playing
German
disco. The song then was disco.
disco. Okay.
Those were then pop, I would say.
Yes.
So when it
Yes.
was pop influenced, they changed the name from just High Life and attached the influence Bogga because then it was a foreign
Yes.
genre. Yes, we
Okay.
had imported. So
Mm.
then along the line, rap is introduced, and then there's a name change again.
Thanks to Reggie Rockstone.
But before Reggie, I
Oh,
think Reggie actually named it, but
Reggie named it. Reggie made it
popular
popular for
and then
our
more attractive.
generation and more
Exactly.
attractive.
That's true.
Something we could identify with.
That's true.
I do understand where you coming from, the older generation that were radum people.
But even during that time, like I said,
Yeah.
you sometimes you have like a few boxers training in the same gym.
Yes.
One is fortunate, and then he hits profession.
Mm-hmm.
He's professional. He goes out there to fight,
Mm-hmm.
leaving the rest behind. When the rest join, the vibe out there might be said, oh, these people are newcomers.
Mm-hmm.
But these people have been there with this champion you think is the champion. But
Yeah.
then they were not heard of.
They
So
were
I think in
working in the
Reggie's case,
background.
yes, in Reggie's case, we had Fun World 95. In fact, we had Mr. Sorek 93. We had things going on around that time.
95, where was I? Oh, I just finished high school.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
damn, did I just give my age away? Okay, go ahead.
you know, so we had these things all going on. But okay, let me just. So Reggie, grandpapa of hip life, he named it. He made it
Yes.
attractive to the younger generation and
Mm-hmm.
to everybody. But you see, unfortunately, each time the name changes, the
Mm-hmm.
the its predecessor is abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
Have you realized? We changed the name from Burger High Life, from High
Yes.
Life to Burger High Life, and
Mm-hmm.
the mother was abandoned.
Mm.
Now we changed from Burger High Life to Hip Life, and the mother was abandoned. Now we have moved from Hip Life. Everybody's claiming to be doing Afro beats, and nobody wants to be tagged as a Hip Life artist now. So you see,
Mm.
what are we selling? We need to know what we are selling to the world first. Once you know what you're selling, then you go ahead and brand it well. So we
Mm-hmm.
haven't been good at branding our most popular music genre, which is highlight.
Mm-hmm.
When you listen to Country Hot, when I listen to the comments on under the post, some suggest it came from here, and majority of the credit is given to the legendary Fela Kuti.
Oh.
Yes, because they feel the dominant horns, pam pam pam, tan tan, and then the flow. But no, you listen to Osibisa, you listen to
Yeah.
Alaji K. Frimpong and his Cubanos band.
Actually, I was thinking more of Osibisa.
You see, that's where I was coming from. But then the folks could relate it from the Fela angle because they've been exposed more to
More
that vibe
to, yeah.
than our
Yeah.
own stuff. That is our problem.
And I think for Osibisa was more on the world stage, and not specifically on the Ghana stage. Whereas Fela was more of dealing with the issues of Nigeria prominently than on the
I
which
think
brought
Fela
it
was more of an activist.
activist.
He
Yes,
uses
yes,
music as a catalyst for change.
yes,
Social
yes.
change and
But
political change and what have you.
yeah,
But Utiliza were musicians entertaining people.
yes, yes.
I think as a band.
But I think I can now that you're speaking, I can see where Country Hot they think it's Fela
You
because
see,
of the message it's carrying.
I should think so,
Yes,
maybe.
I
Because
think
he was
it's
one
the
of the few.
message.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
But I didn't think of Fela first. I was thinking of Sibisa kind of vibe
Oh,
thingy.
okay.
Uh-huh. Thing first.
But these are all I would say they are all branches of the same tree. Because when you listen to Sibisa, when you listen to Alaji K. Frimpong and his Cubanos, when you listen to Vis-a-Vis, when you listen to all these people, you realize that it was at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And ideas don't stay at one place. Ideas move.
Yes.
So yes, we could be having the same ideas musically at the same time. But if you're able to tune yours out first and mine comes second, you'll be credited with whatever
That
comes
is
to
right.
music, they say music is a universal language. Music is universal. It's the same do re mi fa sol la ti do we all play. It's not a different chessboard. So if you have a vibe and you're not quick with your vibe, someone else brings that vibe. You can only get something close to that or do something different.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think in recent times, that is what our brothers or our cousins, the Nigerians, have been able to do over time. They have been able to rebrand what we were all doing.
Yeah.
Yes, into one body, and which they call
Afrobeat. Yeah.
But technically, trust me, that's high life we are singing.
Yeah. You mentioned a key term, branding. Branding.
Okay.
As an artist, as a musician within the African Ghanaian music industry, walk us through your branding and what it means for you and the upcoming musicians. If they talk about branding, what are some of the things they should look at? How should they go about it? And that planning for to the world.
Okay. So branding, I wouldn't, when you talk
You did
branding.
the business. Hey, I got you there. Forget the music. This is business.
I know, right? Then we're talking about the business aspect of
The
it.
business of music. Yes.
And when you talk branding, what comes to mind
You know what
usually?
I'm thinking? One
Yeah.
of these days, I have to get you to do a master class on the business of branding on music for Ghanaian or African musicians. Go ahead.
Yeah. You talk branding and what comes to the minds of most people is clothes and these physical stuff we see. But I think branding goes beyond just the clothes we wear on stage. Like I've told a few of my students I teach to play some of these instruments. I once showed them a picture of the Commodores and Bob Marley in an outfit with then they used to wear the tie,
Yes, bell
and then
buttons,
when it
bell
drops down,
bottoms.
it opens exactly.
Yes.
But these days, these things are out of fashion. But the songs they did are still being
Yes.
played. So you
Yes.
see, these clothes will go. So when you think branding, look beyond just what you're wearing, but how you're positioning yourself as a musician within the music space. Well, with me, I wouldn't want to. I've said it time and again. I hate to fish. I would not want to fish in a river everybody knows has so much fish in it. Not because I'm scared of competition. No, music. I don't think music has to do with competition. Music is communal. It's work for everybody. So I try as much as possible to position myself or put myself in the position, say, in the next 10, 15 years, we can still have this interview with you talking to me, telling me about a song I just released a year ago. See? Because once once you put yourself in that position, you become immortal, and immortal musically. You know, you could be immortalized by music.
Yes.
Yes, it's one of the ways. So once you put yourself in that position, one, investing in yourself, in your craft,
Mm.
in what you do. I spend most of my time playing my instruments. I started with a keyboard, and then I was like, no, let me try something else. And then I went to the guitar, the lead guitar. And then along the line, I was like, let me try something else. So I bought myself a saxophone, an alto sax. And because I said I wanted to play notes and see how they. I actually play the horns in country hut. I play the horns. You hear. Dun, dun, da, 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 da.
There is a Ghanaian trumpeter here.
Oh, yeah.
I think you guys need to link up.
That would be lovely. So, you know, the best way to brand yourself, in fact, put yourself in the position, you'll be relevant for the
Mm-hmm.
longest possible time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best branding you can do for yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
by investing in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
improving your craft by the
Mm-hmm.
day. It's not just about the songs you sing.
Yeah.
It's about what you do in addition to the songs you sing. Oh, does he play an instrument? How
Yes.
many instruments does he play? I'm proud to start in this conversation. I think you mentioned about our show, the Canadian show, with a
Yes.
predominantly white crowd and a few
Mm-hmm.
black in there. I wouldn't be scared of entertaining such a people
Mm-hmm.
because music without words is music. I can just take my sax and everybody hears the saxophone and then you get mesmerized and you want to,
Mm-hmm.
you feel some way. So these are ways I work on myself. Every
Mm-hmm.
day I learn something new. I invest in my craft, regardless of the outcome, what I'll get from it. But that is what I do. So when I meet people like your crowd, it's not
Mm-hmm.
about high life anymore. It's about music.
It's about music.
Yes. And music is music, no matter where it comes. I listen to Tchaikovsky, I listen to Beethoven, I listen to Chopin, I listen to De Brubeck, I listen to Wolfgang, all these. I listen to classical music, no words, but
Mm-hmm.
I listen and I enjoy them. So as an artist, the best way when you take the clothes and stuff we wear out, the best way to position as a brand yourself in a way to make you relevant for the longest possible time is to invest in yourself and
Yeah.
what you do. If you are,
Beautiful. It's hmm. Bruh. I, you know what? Okay. I feel like this conversation really is. We're talking about music, we're talking about all these things, but it's also that inspiration, that self development.
yes,
That
yes,
self
yes. I
development.
think it's the right phrase for that. Self development.
Self
Yes,
development. Every day, learn something,
yes.
something associated to your craft,
That's true.
something, even if it's not associated to your craft, something that adds, it may not add value to you right now, or you see the value right now, but in the future, I,
That's true.
you never know.
That's true.
Learn something new, open up your mind. I, I, Bra, yɛ kuromufoɔ na yɛ na wɔn tete me
I have them too much.
paa, because and this is the thing, we're not comparing, but I am going to make a case study. We're talking about Nigerian artists. We've talked about their branding, and indeed they have understood the concept of branding. But we've also talked about the dedication that they put in the work,
Yeah,
and the plan that they have, and working towards that. Every individual, myself included, yourself included, got to have a plan. Absolutely not.
that's true.
We need to do that. I have another thing. There's
Mhm.
also an observation that sometimes when some people, and this is a part of the human condition, have a little money and fame, it gets into their heads.
Mhm. Yeah, it is very true, but it depends on where you're coming from. Like I say, even with let's take the police service. when you go into the police service, this is me saying, it's my opinion anyway. I think there are three different people here. One who was born into it, so has no choice, still wants to will serve because he inherited it from the father. And there's the other one who is there because of Pejumaya. So that's the only option. And the other one wants to have access to the gun to do his own thing. These are the people we have in this force. If we come to our industry, there are people who go into music for various reasons. And trust me, this is used in various ways. I wouldn't want to speak on camera now. But then people go into music with various reasons. People are born musicians. So they forever stay in within the music space till they can either sing nor play an instrument anymore. Or fade out. So I'll make an example. Say Sonny Rollins. He's in his 90s. He's been doing jazz with Miles Davis and the rest since the civil rights movement days. You know, he's still doing it. I listened to his interview. They were calling him a legend, and he was like, "No, he's still on the playing field. You know, he still got his saxophone." So various people enter into this, or they venture into this discipline with different mindsets. Yeah. So if your mindset is to come and make money, in fact, the mindset is usually influenced by what we see before coming. People just see the glitz and the glamour. So they think it's just about the glitz and the glamour. They are everywhere. They are here. They are there. If you come for the glitz and the glamour, it's a class. In fact, we have a social class. There's a ladder. Once you don't fit here, you drop here. You know, and then you keep dropping, until you don't fit into any class there. Yeah. So the other person or the other musician doesn't allow the fame and the fortune to get into the head, because the work comes first. If you take me, for example, just knowing that a song I have done has touched somebody or impacted on somebody's life so much is enough for me. I'm thrilled knowing that my song has changed a life or touched a life. And this is the essence of what we do. We are architects of change, like I said, architects of motion. So if you're able to touch a life, this is it. So if you allow that to get into your head, riches are not forever. Fame is not forever. Everything fades. But when you're gone, when all those things are gone, what are you left with? You're left with a musician who came after fame and money. The money and the fame is gone. Now you have just a human being. And you know, you can't chase the fame, the music, and the money at the same time. You follow the music, the money comes after you. The fame chases you. Follow the music, just follow the music. But once you have your mind set on the fame and the fortune, trust me, you can make good music. No, you can't.
I am so glad we haven't.
We're talking about the fame getting into your head, and I think I was of the view that, you know, if the mind is on the fame and the money, then you're gonna have none at the end of the day. You know, but usually most of the hard work is done underground. You know, and usually we are humble when we are underground. Underground, I say, when we are still trying to develop whatever we have.
Incubating.
You know, when we are incubating, exactly. That's where you find the most humble musicians or artists in general. You know, but fame and fortune, they have the in fact, they can poison you, make you, or break you. I have a friend, Sledge. He says, Charlie, his dad used to advise him, say, if you have 5 sensible friends, you be the 6th sensible person. Yeah, but if you have 5 foolish friends, then you are the 5th fool. You know.
I now remember where I was taking this conversation.
Great. Then let me hear you out.
The power of story and this podcast. At one point in time, I was told that to stop this podcast. Wow. And that is my understanding. And for many things, that is it. You study. and then you go write an exam. When you get an 80%, 90%, how well you studied, whether you studied a little bit, you're a brainiac, you're not, it's just a number that is out there. The work you put in, many people don't see
Yeah.
how hard you work,
Yeah.
but they just see the end product. And
That's true.
yes. And sometimes, if you don't take care, just like you said, there are some entities that will come into your life that will destroy your future because they do not understand that sometimes you have to put in the elbow grease and let it slowly and diligently work into the future. Conversation with somebody, I learned something new.
That's true.
I learned something new.
That's true.
Every year,
Nana,
Bemena,
Nana Yaa.
Waya Lolo.
What's your mumu?
What's your momo? Eh? Don't make my jama come out. Don't make
Oh, I can't wait. In fact, I'm tickling the Jama to come out
you're
now.
you're tickling the jama.
Yes.
Amen. 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 And any last, words before I let you go?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I think there was one issue we couldn't really cover entirely. I think about the what do you call it? The solutions to
Oh yes.
our industry problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have musicians aspiring to be head of music bodies, or like
Like music.
example like Gamro, and
Gamro.
so we went to school to study music just to be musicians. So if I need somebody to take care of my royalties, my retirement plan, these are monies I expect to come to me even after I've decided not to sing again.
Mm-hmm.
If I need somebody to manage those funds for me, I don't need a fellow musician. I think I need a better qualified person to manage it. That is why we have Kolebu, and we have Kolebu administration. The doctors are taking care of the sick patients, and you have accountants and secretaries running the administration. That is what they went to school to do. But you have an industry which, even within its own members, fight, just by fighting to assume certain positions within the industry, positions they are not better qualified to head, then you have a problem. So you have an institution like Gamro. Gamro is supposed to collect monies on behalf of musicians and then give it back to the musicians. These monies haven't been forthcoming. These monies are not coming. Who's to blame? Because we don't have. In fact, there are people have come with ideas to help, help move this whole thing. But then we are like this. Musicians don't need to go fighting for Gamro positions. Let's come together as musicians, look for better qualified people who can manage our monies for us.
And
That
then
is
have
why,
an oversight.
I am not an accountant. Opening stock, add purchases, less closes. I didn't go to school. I did this in secondary school. But if you ask me about my sophas, I can tell you my do re mi. I can tell you what a chord is. I can tell you what a melody is. In fact, this is what I do. I can sing for you. So let us have people who are better qualified. This is not music. This is Gamro.
Gamro.
Yes. This is monies we are working with. People's intellectual property. Monies from people's intellectual property. That is one side of it. Because if we are not able to make Gamro work well, the average musician will find it difficult to survive in this promo-saturated industry where winner takes all. If we don't work on Gamro, example, I distribute my songs through TuneCore, and TuneCore takes it to all the stores. I think they have a program for artists who have good streaming numbers. They pre-finance your recording. Yes, they pre-finance your recording. It's like a loan, student's loan you're giving.
Yeah.
Yes, and then gradually the money is taken out of revenue from your streams you're getting. This is beautiful. This is how it runs there. So if you're an artist, you know you're getting this. Oh, I don't have $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 to record an album. You can fall on this scheme, and then this scheme will finance your project, and you pay this money without knowing you're paying this money. You see, musicians' welfare. What are we doing? We are tired of seeing retired actors and musicians coming public appealing for funds to treat their illnesses. You're ready to meet you,
Yeah.
but what are we? It's the same thing every day. And you know, we keep forgetting that we all grow. Tomorrow it will be me. I'll get to the age of KK Kabobo. And yeah, they may picture Beba one thing and say, I am sick, I need money. I'm not saying there's anything against appealing for funds, but let us work on that particular institution which manages. You see, musicians, we don't pay social security to governments. We don't pay SNP like the average civil servant who does. So you ask, after music, or
Then
if you're
what?
not relevant anymore, how do you survive? So you see, most of our colleagues, they travel out and they don't come again. Or they take up side jobs and then just to survive. But you know, music is a full-time job. A
It
banker
is.
goes to work from 9 to 5. In fact, we don't even have time boundaries. We are not time bound. Just like we're having this in the interview. I was in town. I had to rush back home because of this interview. You know, so this is what we do for a living. If our mother body, which is supposed to take care of us when we are, even now and when we are retired, isn't functioning well, then the future is very bleak. I don't think I would advise my child to venture into music. But thanks to God, we have other collection bodies out there. But why would I be a Ghanaian and not benefit from my local collection body, which I'm registered with, but then rely on a foreign collection body to do collection for me because mine is not working well? A government institution. In fact, I need to read more about what they are doing there. Yeah, but then yes, it's a society that collects. In fact, it's mandated to collect monies on behalf of musicians by government. In fact, I think yes, by law. That is why Gamro can arrest you, maybe close down a hotel if it's not paying the monies they should be paying. I think if it's not government enforced, they can be doing those things. So yes, it's a recognized body which is responsible for collection of artists' royalties. However, it's nothing to write home about. You know, so we need to work on these bodies. We need to work on Gamro. We need to work on Musica. What should Musica do? Why are we losing our most popular music genre, High Life? Because it's not attractive to the current musician. The current musician is so versatile, so blessed. If you give him a reggae song, Obeto. If you give him a High Life song, Obeto. So if High Life is not selling, I'll quickly jump and start doing something, some dancehall. Yes.
The commercial stuff.
Exactly. I'll go commercial. So how do we even protect? How does Musica come in here? How do you make this attractive to the younger ones? Because you're massive. Maybe my appreciation of music may differ from yours. Because maybe I don't just listen to the music, but I listen to the music and its entirety. So I appreciate the music more. When I see a lick, when I see something done, when I see some magic in the music, I hear the magic in the music. I can actually tell that, oh, this is what the artist is doing. So we need just basic music knowledge in school. Basic. Let's reintroduce music back into our curriculum. That way, we'll be raising better musicians, not just musicians who are vocalists. When I talk of musicians who
can read music.
Yes. Musicians who appreciate music. And not just the musicians. So if you understand something, you only fall in love with things you understand. No, but if you don't understand something, there's no way you're going to completely fall in love with that person. So once in fact, all these kids have a basic music knowledge in school, I think it will go a long way to affect, in fact, the way they perceive our most popular music genre. They wouldn't see it from the artist's perspective. Oh, and they inclusive volume and they see, but then they will see it from a music vibe, a musician's perspective. Oh wow, Young Ponsan is beautiful. Look at the way he adds the seven. Look at the way he adds the seven and then he goes to the live after it. You know, you listen. These are this is
Hey,
the only way. What?
why all yaya?
I'm saying you papa all the fine girls be here. And you know, the first recording of Young Ponsan was in 1925 or something, or 25 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the
Eh.
Kumasi trial. Kwame Mensah and his Kumasi trial.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So we've
yes.
come a very long way. So on the
Oh.
part of music, I think this is what we need to be doing, pushing
Mm.
government to, you know, reintroduce music back into our school's curriculum. That
Mm-hmm.
way, and these are the benefits we start getting.
I played that entertain. Don't ask me to
Oh,
play
you
it.
did? In fact, we need a session when I see you in
Oh
Canada.
no, no, no! Don't ask me to play it. I have totally forgotten. I don't even have any here, but I
Wow.
can get a flute.
When you get one, no problem. You know, we don't have, now we have churches springing up everywhere. Like I said, the beer bars and these pubs are beginning to understand the live band culture, thanks to places like Plus 233 and then the
Mm-hmm.
Gold Coast, which
Yes.
these places started this tradition. And then
Mm-hmm.
this way, when these kids come out of school, even JSS level,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you can play a music instrument, we have what's something we call shabu. Musicians play shabu. So you go to one church, you play,
Shabo,
yeah, shabu.
like shabo,
Yeah,
tentem.
shabu, shabu. Yeah, shabu
Okay,
crew, you
okay.
know. So you go to a church, you're a guitarist, you're good. You go to a
Mm-hmm.
church, you play for an hour, you collect your 500 CDs. So in one Sunday, you can play like 4 churches. And if each church is giving you, say, 500 CDs,
Ah,
that's
that's
2,000.
2,000
That's
Ghana.
like $200 that way.
Yeah.
And if these kids come out of school, these kids can do this. We don't have school bands anymore. In fact, back then we had schools like John Tay who were championing the school.
John
Every
Tai
kid
doesn't
wanted to.
have any more.
I don't know about that any, but
The
then
last person, this trumpeter went to John Tay and he
okay,
plays a trumpet here. So there's one of Drake's songs called Trumpets.
okay,
Google it up. When you
okay.
hear those trumpets, it sounds
He
like
did the
Ghana.
trumpet. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he's on it.
Wow, wow,
He
wow,
plays
wow.
with the
Kudos.
Wu-Tang Clan, Wu-Tang as well. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yes.
awesome.
So
So you see, I don't know him. You see, this is the industry. I don't know him. We don't even have a place for instrumentalists.
no,
We put
because
all of.
he's not in Ghana.
Mhm.
He's here. He's based here in Canada.
In fact, not because of him, Paul. We have people who are doing most of the work. Like I
Yes.
don't know if you've heard of one Kwame Yeboah.
Yes, 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 yes.
How many people back home know of Kwame? Only a
Uh,
few.
doesn't he play with this British guy,
Yeah, Craig David. He
Craig
played
David?
with Craig.
Yes,
Yes, he played
yeah,
with. He's played with a couple of them, Elton John, Craig David,
yes,
and a few
yes,
of them. You see, but people like this are not all really known back home.
yeah.
You know, because we don't have space for them back home. No, we don't have any space, any room for
Then we
them
have to
within the.
create those
We have
spaces
to
for them.
create these, and these are the people who are
So
doing
you
all
and
this.
I have work to do.
I know, I know, I know.
As you're speaking, all I'm thinking is business.
Yeah,
Wherever there's a vacuum, you create that business and you capture it. And
that's
as
true.
we're talking about ideas, now you and I have said this. Mind you, somebody is also thinking about
I
it.
know, right?
The only difference will be whether we do it first or they
Or
do
they
it
do
first.
it. That's true. That's true. So to end it all, I would say, uh, let's protect or let's
Yeah.
preserve as part of culture. I'm an architect of culture, like I said. Let's
Yes.
protect our most popular music genre, which is the
Mm-hmm.
high life. How
Yeah.
do we do that? If an animal or a particular species is endangered,
Yes.
we put together measures to protect endangered species. We
Yes.
can do that. On
Yes.
radio stations, let's create segments on radio
Mm-hmm.
just for high life. The
Yeah.
few weeks I have been here, in fact, when you surf through these channels, you can get
Mm-hmm.
country music, that
Yeah.
music, that on different channels, unlike
Mm-hmm.
home. When we
Yeah.
do this, I think people will start falling in love with our most popular
Yes.
music genre.
Yes.
Our industry is so promising and vibrant. I think we just need to sit up and
we,
everything is
we
fine.
need to set up adwene no nso no. We need to change our mindset. We need to have the proper planning of the future and work towards it.
That's true.
Guys, this has been the Nana Yaa Yeboaa podcast, and I'm very, very excited because Afriyie and myself, hey, you came well.
Thank you.
We're free.
Thank
Woody
you.
Jan and Nam. Hey, Oja, Oja.
Hey, Oja.
Guys, we've had a lovely, lovely, lovely conversation, and we've also learned a lot. We've gone through mindsets, we've gone through self development, we've gone through music as preserving a cultural heritage. We've also talked about perception and inspiring change through music and genre. We've also used music as self expression and to connect. Music is what has connected Afriyie and
That's
myself
true.
on this podcast. And even though he may not, we will see each other in the future, but we were connected with the music before
Exactly.
we came on.
Exactly.
Yeah, baby. Yes. The music also helps to soothe us and encourages us and re-inspire us, just like Cheers to Life and how do we call it? Country Hot,
Okay.
Ayalolo. All those re-inspire us that there's always tomorrow. We can always do better and not let it weigh us down. Bemena.
Nana Yaa.
Bemena.
Nana Yaa Hima.
Debbie, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you so much.
You're
I I,
welcome.
I truly appreciate you having this conversation with me, and I do really hope that the audience will also appreciate this.
Thank you
Bless
so
you.
much. God bless you
Nyame
too.
nhyira wo emma me. Uh-huh.
Amen. No
And
share
then
on
sing the
sister.
next year baby for me.
No problem at all.